As we consume anime each day, there are also a lot of crazy and weird things happening in the world of anime every day. So each month, I, your friendly neighborhood vampire, Spike, put together a list of the 10 most weirdest anime news of that month. And this time, there are some real spicy ones in here. So without further ado, number 10. Recently, a news article just dropped that in 2021, the anime and manga industry had lost over $16 billion because of piracy.
Holy look at all this damage!
Let me say that again. $16 billion. I can't even imagine how big $1 million is. Now these guys are losing 16 billion. Now, they are saying like, oh, we lost so much of... Listen, it isn't as simple as it sounds. First of all, 2021, the pandemic hit, so a lot of people just got stuck at home watching anime. So it wasn't that important to them to watch anime legally or to just go the pirate route. And yes, piracy is a bad thing, but there are situations like Neon Genesis Evangelion and the fact that you couldn't even watch it for like 20 years if you weren't in Japan. But I guess that's another story for another day. Anyway, that so-called loss of 16 billion was basically $16 billion worth of advertisement. Just imagine this. Those same people that became anime fans because of piracy are gonna buy merch, they're gonna buy figurines, and also they're gonna buy the latest volumes of the manga that they love so much when it gets released. So even if a small percentage of those people become long-term anime fans, these companies are going to get their money back in no time. Number 9. Did you know that the voice actor of Eren from Attack on Titan wore the same pair of underwear whenever he was recording for 10 years?
What did he say?
Listen, let me just read his sentence. For some reason, when I play my role in Attack on Titan, I always wear the same underwear. I think it was just a coincidence, but when I was recording episode 1, I was wearing an underwear with a black-white pattern that resembled the image of the works. And then when I started recording episode 2 and saw that I was wearing the same underwear, I thought, oh, this is the same one that I wore last week. That's when I decided that I'll keep wearing it since I'm still wearing it and it's already 10 years old. It has some holes, but I have one recording session left, so it's about to retire. Well, rest in peace to that poor underwear. And I guess now every time you hear Eren, you can imagine behind that voice is a guy with a crusty pair of underpants. Number 8. I'm sure there are some of you out there that can solve a Rubik's Cube, right? I mean, it's a really good hobby that takes a lot of practice and effort to actually learn it. But you're probably thinking, okay, what does a Rubik's Cube have to do with anime? Well, the official Twitter page of One Piece has put out a video of Oda solving a Rubik's Cube with one hand in under a minute. Dude, I can't even solve not even two, even one side of a Rubik's Cube. Well, I guess I can't really compare myself to Oda. I mean, the guy literally created One Piece, and I'm just a random guy on the internet talking about Eren's voice actor wearing the same pair of underpants for 10 years. That's it. After I finish the video, I'm gonna go learn this goddamn thing once and for all. But before I do that, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and turning on the notification bell so that you'll know when our next upload. Number 7. Apparently, Japan has decided to ban adults from being able to buy Pokemon cards because they weren't leaving anything for the kids. Now, you can argue whether it's a good or a bad thing to just completely ban adults from being able to buy cards, but I do agree that a kid shouldn't go through the ordeal of going to a store to buy Pokemon cards and return empty-handed because a middle-aged man decided to buy all the packs in the store. Number 6. While we're on the topic of Pokemon, it looks like a music composer for the Pokemon anime, and I don't even want to say his name, has been arrested for, let me just read this correctly. Pokemon anime composer has pledged guilty to obscenity and assault charges after he admitted in court to stalking and soliciting sex from a 15-year-old girl, in addition to committing over a dozen other obscene public acts across the past 10 years. And he has also confessed to taking upskirt photos of girls' underwear at the train station, as well as exposing his genitals while riding the train dozens of times over the past decade. And he just said, "I wanted to feel the thrill of being found or not. I did it to relieve my daily frustration and work stress." Listen, I don't care who you are, I don't care what you do. If you do any of these things that this guy has done, you are a piece of trash. You shouldn't be near people, and you definitely shouldn't have the right to live in society. So, good riddance to this guy. Number 5. If you're up to date with the seasonal anime, you're probably familiar with Oshinoko, and apparently, spoiler alert for episode 6, the events that happened in that episode, you know, the girl that slapped another girl and got bullied by the internet and decided to commit suicide but then got rescued by Aqua. Well, it looks like most of it was real. According to Anime News Network, professional wrestler Hana Kimura died by suicide at the age of 22. She was relentlessly cyberbullied for knocking the hat off a fellow cast member after he ruined her wrestling uniform on a Japanese reality TV show. And with the release of Oshinoko, the mother of Hana Kimura wasn't, let's just say, happy with what was shown on the anime. She said that the words that the character was exposed to are exactly the words that Hana was exposed to. How could those exact same words be used? I can't overlook the fact that Hana's death is being used like free source material. She also noted that I don't mean to blame the author or any specific individual. I just wonder if there was no one who gave it a proper consideration before releasing it out into the world. I would like to support a work like Oshinoko. However, I don't think that it needs to be done in a way that makes people who have already been victimized on social media suffer when they see it. Now, I do think that the mother has pretty good reasons to have a problem with the episode, but at the same time, I think that stuff like this needs to be made more often. I mean, the whole point of the anime is to show the shady sides of the entertainment industry. And the fact that sometimes the internet can be a really scary place. So now that Oshinoko is raising awareness to that, I think it's a really positive thing. Number 4. In 2023, the love for anime has become so big that even celebrities express their love for anime. People like Keanu Reeves, Kanye West, Megan Thee Stallion. But the person that we're talking about today is Michael B. Jordan. Well, recently he visited the studio that made Naruto, Black Clover, Bleach, and so many other popular anime that we love so much, Studio Pierrot. And he actually got some signed artwork from the anime staff. Fun fact, he has actually said that there's a Creed anime in production. It is being made by another studio, but I can confidently say that moments like this are extremely important for the anime industry because it can really boost the popularity of anime to places that we never thought was even possible.
Break it down. Break it down.
Without nerding out too much, you've seen so many fights throughout the Rocky and Creed franchise, and I really wanted to put my spin on it, you know, how to make these fights different. And, you know, from Hajime no Ippo to Maglobox to Naruto to My Hero Academia, all those different, you know, anime that I've watched growing up, there's an inherent spirit to them and how they fight, you know, and their bonds and their relationships and all that good stuff. But it's very similar to the brotherhood and bond that we have and his relationship to his family as well. So I tried to to key in on some of those key moments. And yeah, they're in there. They're in a lot of the fights.
Number 3. A few days ago, the CEO of MAPPA had an interview about the success of the Chainsaw Man's anime, and basically said that although financially it was a complete success, it didn't have the same level of impact that Jujutsu Kaisen did. What he's talking about here is basically the sales of the Blu-rays that weren't as big as Jujutsu Kaisen's. Now, let me clear a few things in terms of success. Just look at their YouTube channel. Literally, the top 10 most viewed videos on their channel are all Chainsaw Man endings, and the number 1 is the opening. So it definitely boosted their studio. But as why the Blu-ray sales weren't that high? Well, when a studio puts out the Blu-rays for an anime, it usually changes a few things like improving the art and the animation in some parts. But it wasn't the case for Chainsaw Man. The TV version and the Blu-rays were almost identical, and not to mention that it was triple the price of a normal anime Blu-ray. So there wasn't a reason for people to actually buy them. And there are a lot of important factors in the success of an anime, like streaming and merchandise, so you can't just judge it solely on Blu-ray sales. Listen, I'm not a businessman, okay? They clearly know their revenue better than anyone else. All I'm saying is that just because the MAPPA CEO said that the Blu-rays didn't sell well, it doesn't mean that they're gonna cancel Chainsaw Man. I mean, it's one of their biggest titles. They're not going to say that, okay, just because of the Blu-rays, we're gonna cancel this thing. And besides, the first season, despite it being just an introduction to the series, and the fact that it only had 12 episodes, it got this big. So if you have read the manga, you know that when the second season hits, the internet is gonna blow up to smithereens. Number 2. Now, while we're on the topic of Chainsaw Man, oh boy, I gotta be careful about this one. YouTube can get tricky sometimes. Well, apparently we're getting a Chainsaw Man live action, and not just any live action. As you can probably tell by the poster, we're getting an adult live action.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Now that I think about it, if it gets more successful than the anime itself, now that would be a day to remember. Hey, Spike from the future here. Looks like it actually did happen. For the anime, if we don't include the 10,000 copies that Oricon didn't count because they were sold on MAPPA's site itself, well, the anime sold around 1700 copies in its first week, and the live action sold 8600 copies in its first week. I don't know what to say, like, I've never seen anything like this, so that's that, I guess. Number 1. Dude, just how many Chainsaw Man related things were in this list? Well, I guess it says something about the vibe of the series as a whole. But anyway, the author of Chainsaw Man, Tatsuki Fujimoto, is quite an interesting person to say the least. Well, he ate his pet fish when he was 24.
What? What the f?
Yeah, let me just read it. Even though we were poor, we had a pet Japanese rice fish. I found it dead one summer. I went to toss his body into the trash like in Parasite, but my girlfriend said that she wanted me to bury it. So off I went to the park, alone. I tried to bury it under this big tree, but the ground was too hard, my hands got all dirty, and I had no hole to show for my effort. Out of options, I figured I would pretend I had buried the fish and left it lying there on top of the ground. As I watched it for a while, ants found the body and began trying to carry it away. I'm not sure what came over me, but in that moment, love for that pet fish welled within me for the first time. I brushed the ants away and then I ate it. Oh my god. The ending of the first part of the manga, it makes so much since now. These authors are truly beyond human understanding. Okay, thank you so much for watching till the end. I truly appreciate it. Did I miss anything weird that happened this month? If I did, tell me in the comments. And don't forget to check out my other video which I talk about top 10 one-man army characters in anime. As always, I'm Spike, and that's all I have for this one. See you in the next one. Bye!